a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits.
Welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Robert.
And Charlie.
Hey, Charlie. Surprisingly enough, this kind of fits into the theme. I've been recovering from a stomach bug. We should go to the hospital. Oh no, the
Nightmare.
hospital. Not nightmare. Usually the hospital for me is a nightmare regardless. But we can't go to the hospital alone because the hospital requires that I have 3 visitors with me for some fucking reason. So we brought 2 other people with us.
Yeah, I think we have like some guests, or maybe it's like a weird like gem experiment. I'm not sure why we have so many people here today. What's
Just
going on?
call it what it is. It's a foursome. Like, gosh, Charlie.
It is a foursome. You're correct.
Stop being so prude. But we are joined today by returning guests. We have Josh from Super Scary.
Hello, how are you?
And we got some little guy who is the other co-host for the Percy Jackson podcast this one does, Ray.
Yeah, that is who I am. And now the 4 of us will combine into a horrifying conglomerate being.
That's just every polycule I know.
Yeah. And then you show up in a hospital and they're like, wait, why does this not have a heartbeat? What's happening?
Yeah.
No questions about the extra limbs. Just
no heartbeat.
Mm-hmm. Lack of face.
If our guests want to reintroduce themselves and throw in what they do, why are they here, / show this episode, and their pronouns, because they are snazzy biznitches.
Hello, everyone. You may be familiar with me. I'm Ray Raphael. I am the co-host of the Eldest Gods. We read some Rick Riordan books. It's pretty cool of us. I use they, them pronouns on the internet primarily, but it's like, whatever, man.
You know.
And I love Steven Universe. Woo!
Woo! And hello, everyone. I'm Josh. I do the Super Scary podcast on the Deus Ex Media Network. We cover horror movies and sci-fi movies sometimes, which this episode definitely falls under that bracket. So I'm assuming that's why I'm here, aside from my lovely voice gracing your airwaves.
There have been many an episode in the past, gosh, when's the last time you were on? Not Frybo, was it? No, you were on after Frybo. Cat Fingers.
Oh yeah, it was
No, it was movie, the horror movie club. Yeah, horror club.
There we
Horror
go.
Club was Josh's previous episode, and Ray's actually been here already this season for Sworn to the Sword. I think that's where we talked about this one, because you were like, "Hey, this is part of the arc and such that Connie goes through."
I'm back for more Connie time.
More Connie time. So yeah, in between the last time Josh was here, we've encountered, I don't know, a good like 4-ish other episodes that, while they're not supernatural in nature or horror-filled in nature, are still pretty fucked up, and we're like, oh, you know who'd be a great guest? Josh.
Literally, it's sometimes you get an episode of Steven Universe that's like really has terrifying moments in it. Specifically, anything with the gem experiments lately has been like that. So
yeah, it's very clear that our beloved creator of Steven Universe has a soft spot for horror themed elements.
Soft spot for horror, big spot for, or a heart spot for anime.
Yes, that too. That too. Before we continue, I just have to point out, this is my first time recording with Ray, because I don't know anything about Percy Jackson. I'm so sorry. So I haven't had the pleasure of being on the same pod as Ray. So I just had to point that out. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, this is a for real crossover.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, you haven't had Ray on the pod to talk about like something spooky related?
I don't
Ray, you
think
like spooky
so.
things?
I do like several spooky things. We'll talk about it.
Okay,
We'll,
yeah, we'll
yeah,
we'll
'cause-
chat. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
This is networking.
yeah.
Network people. Come on.
yeah.
I'm
We've only
glad
really
this
like
forced him to
met.
be your first. I wanted to get my stupid joke out there.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, go ahead.
Hey, for more stupid jokes, what if we started talking about the episode in question, Nightmare Hospital, which is season 2, episode 16, which premiered September 10th, 2015. Oh, hey guys, the important holiday the day after, I guess, never forget. Except, I guess, if you're the Trump administration, you take away a bunch of money from the foundations for 9/11, and then you, I guess, hey, but that's not the thing. Before the episode quickly begins, hey, Charlie, does the postman have any posts for us?
The postman did not have any post for us today. Sad, sad, sad.
And then just because we're in a bit of a hurry this episode, DashCon 2. So the episode begins with Lion carrying Stephen and Connie to the Maheshwaran residence. Connie reassumes her secret identity by putting on her glasses, which is Peter Parker coded. Am I right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I
true.
thought it was Superman. I thought
Well,
that was
yeah,
the whole
Superman,
point.
Peter Parker, it's the same. Okay, it is probably more Superman.
Yeah.
Especially since that bitch ain't blind. I'm referring to Clark Kent, not Connie. And that bitch ain't blind, and those glasses are straight for show.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it does apply
sometimes
to
they're-
Connie a little bit in this episode.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes
So-
something like dampen or something his powers. I feel like that's
I thought they were just normal glasses.
Depending on the writer, they're normal glasses. So the majority of writers are like, hey, most people just assume Superman is Superman. Like, that's his name. He lives in the Fortress of Solitude. Like, that's his address. Nobody
No.
fucking assumes that Superman's a regular dude who has like a 9-to-5 job. Like, that's the main thing people do in comics.
he still's got to pay taxes and shit. Come on.
He saves the world every goddamn day. And the other comic people are like, hey, what if Superman's glasses had like some weird hypnotic ability that forces people to like look away and just never assume that Clark Kent is Superman?
Oh, I didn't even know that was it. I feel like maybe this was Supergirl lore, but I remember it was like it somehow just made the powers like a little bit more dampened or something, especially for like, child Kryptonian who's trying to learn how to use their powers for the first time. I thought that was the vibe.
Nope, unfortunately that's not the
Because
vibe.
when you're a small pubescent child and you have X-ray vision
Mhm.
and you're just like, I can't look at anybody because
Don't
I
look
can't
at me.
control this.
I can't imagine how you don't accidentally kill somebody as a Kryptonian. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not the conversation for it, but hey, how does Lois Lane take? Never mind.
Oh. Oh.
Wonder Woman I can get, but Lois Lane, I mean, okay, never mind.
I feel like we've killed Josh.
Steven asks Connie that if she will come next week for more certified training, and Connie agrees, and she's like, man, it sucks that I can't practice at home. Steven gives her his mother's sword to practice with. Like, takes it out of line, has this whole fucking
Thy
grammatically
mother's
incorrect.
sword? They're
This whole,
going
like-
really cute with the words.
Yeah. So Steven is just putting Eth at the end of random things, and Connie's like, that's not right. And then she does it right for a second, and then she just gives up and is like, yeah, I'll say Eth also.
Because it's funny. They're just having fun
Yeah.
with it. They're children.
Is this the equivalent of like giving your girlfriend like a piece of jewelry that your mom owned, or like, proposing with a ring that belonged to the grandmother? Like, I feel like should be a little more sentimental than, just pulling
she's
it out
just
of a
borrowing
line.
it. So, like,
True,
you
true, true,
are
true.
right, though. Like,
It should be, but like Steven's not going to use the sword.
Mm-mm.
that's
like,
true.
This is
true.
from now on, this just becomes Connie's sword.
Mm.
Steven has no use for it unless he's part of Stevani. So, like, he was too traumatized by sword fighting. He's not going to learn how to use that shit.
I love that they gave it to her in the intro. Very
Mm.
good.
Yes.
Listen, we all see it, like, they want to tell us that it is a symbolic gesture of like trust, companionship, partnership, whatever you want to call it. Really, it's Steven just decluttering Lion. Like, he has all his like snacks and stuffed
Yeah.
animals or whatever under the tree. He needs to make some room, so he's like,
We
let's
still
give
just have
Connie the
Bismuth
sword.
chilling in there. Like, yeah, he gives her the sword, and then immediately like, shit, mom is home. Oh no, we're not expecting this. Wait, hide it. Let's pretend to act super normal. Steven can act normal, right? No, he cannot.
I was gonna be like, why didn't they just put it back in Lion? Like when I was started watching the episode, and then Steven was like, oh my gosh, Lion's gone. And I was like, well, they thought of everything.
Yeah.
Lion is a cat. Lion is just a giant cat who does whatever the fuck he wants, like somebody else in this freaking apartment.
Charlie spoke to beloved cat of the podcast, Orzo, who is the patron saint.
He's not tapping on the door just now, but he was wanting me to play with him as soon as we started recording. So I'm expecting it to happen.
I love what they do. So this is like classic 80s movie trope. You just threw the big party, you tidied everything up last minute. Parents walk in and they notice one thing slightly out of place and they're like, whatever. That's probably what it was like the entire time. Except the scenario plays out that Stephen and Connie are pretending that Connie has been studying for all of 6 o'clock because she has a very tight hourly schedule and she is now late. I'm sorry. Violin lesson. Jesus Christ. That she's been conducting her violin lessons all of 6 o'clock because she has a very tight hourly schedule and she's already 5 minutes late for her 7 o'clock study session. Ugh.
Hate it.
Yikes.
Controlling parents. Yikes. They disguise the sword in the sheath as a coat hanger, and Dr. Maheshwaran, for about 5 minutes, just doesn't notice until she's like, wait a minute, when did we get a coat hanger?
Yeah, she puts her coat on it, and then she's like, wait.
I feel like the coat rack is a common like thing that people use because it's like, oh yeah, like everything goes over it, so you're not gonna see it as much. You're not gonna like, question that shit. But it's like, we didn't have a coat rack to begin with, so what's happening here?
I just want to point out, humans are creatures of habit. Dr. Maheshwaran probably for the most part enters and puts her coat away in the closet or something. So the fact that she disturbed her routine to put her coat on this coat rack definitely set something off in her brain to be like, wait a minute, we broke the schedule, we broke the routine, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why they just didn't put it behind the couch.
Yeah, there has to have been a better spot. But I mean, it is a big ass sword.
Yeah. Because like even if it was behind the couch and it was like either end is like poking out on either side, it's like on the floor. So I don't think she would have really like looked behind there. I don't know. Maybe she would have, but with the way that she's like very particular about things. But
there's a Spider-Man panel that I don't remember the exact context for, but it's Spider-Man holding a duffel bag with his clothes on while he's wearing the costume. Presumably like Aunt May is about to walk into his room and the monologue goes, "Think fast, Parker." And he throws the bag out the window and he's like, not that fast. So roughly the same thing just happened here.
Yeah.
So naturally, Dr. Maheshwaran is like, hey, wait a minute. This is a sword. That's dangerous. Do you have any idea how many fucking kids I deal with that get cut up with swords? And she's like, none, because they have responsible parents who don't let their kids play with swords.
She's so ridiculous.
Honestly, her monologue was kind of iconic. I just have to say.
It really is. And also, not letting your kid play with sword is actually a very reasonable standard to have as a parent.
Yeah.
Like, she's so over the top that it comes across as over the top in the episode. But like, this is one of the least unreasonable things that she does is confiscate the deadly weapon.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Brings it with her to work, which is like she gets a call from work being like, hey, your patient has problems, come back to work. Okay, she brings the fucking sword with her. There was a PSA long ago about like how kids are afraid of having guns in the house or whatever, and that PSA was straight up like, hey, kids, what you should do is you should take the gun, hid it in your parents' room, and bring it to school and give it to your teacher and be like, please take it away, I don't want a gun in my house.
No, you don't bring the gun to school.
God.
That's actually the opposite of what they want you to do.
Yeah,
I might say. So don't do that, kids. If you're listening to this, which I hope you're also not listening to this podcast. What are you doing here?
We've made so many inappropriate jokes at this point.
I need everyone to say fuck at the same time for harmony. 1, 2, 3. Fuck. Oh, we actually did harmony. Fuck. All right.
Oh, we also did while Dr. Maheshwaran was like acting, you know, normal and everything, like going around putting her coat down, she was like, yeah, we had a really interesting patient, but I can't tell you anything about it, but it was straight out of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Like,
Does the zoom, yeah.
foreshadowing. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I feel like in previous episodes, when you guys were talking about how there's been like horror elements used to like play up how unnatural these gem experiments are, it's fun that like that's played very seriously, but then in this one we kind of play up that aspect to make it a sort of like Halloweeny, like very obviously pastiche episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how the horror movie podcast was just like, yeah, said nothing else. I mean, Ray
Bro,
said everything.
Bro, do you even horror
Ray is so
movies?
smart.
Aw.
That's the thing. If you've ever podcasted with Ray, you know that Ray is really smart.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't say words though, so it all balances out.
That's a mood.
God needed to nerf you. Just a little nerf. No words come out of the smart one.
I was gonna say Connie like lies and is just like, yeah, we just found the sword like on the street and I took it inside. Like, what? Connie,
doesn't
what's
help.
going on here?
It doesn't help your case, honey.
Think
No,
fast,
but
better at
not
lying.
half-assed.
No, it totally makes sense though, because that's her way to be like, it wasn't like a serious thing. I don't have anything to do with swords generally. This was one mistake that I made that we can all move past as like a family.
Oh.
Also, I wanted to point, like, I was gonna make like a joke about how funny it is that Connie is so good at acting natural and Steven is so deeply uncomfortable. But like, when you think about it, it's actually really sad that Connie is so used to lying and that Steven, like, you know, he's never had to as a person because all of his family figures are supportive.
This is playing into Steven having anxiety just as a general thing for the future.
Yeah.
Also. But I guess it is good that Connie doesn't, like, another person could push it all onto Steven and be like, oh, well, it's Steven's sword. He brought it in to show me or something. But, like, Connie doesn't do that. She's just like, nope, we just found this or whatever. So
But also, a big part of her fear is that she will not be allowed to see Steven anymore. This has been like
Exactly.
a thing about their relationship the whole time that they've known each other. And so, like, not connecting the sword to Steven is actually really important also.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, mom was called into work.
Takes the sword with her. It's fucking crazy. Steven and Connie are like, we gotta get the sword back. So they teleport on to the hospital on Lion's back. Connie is like, hey, we should leave Lion behind. So Steven gives Lion some lion liquors, which is cute.
It's adorable.
Rest in peace, Cookie Cat. You were a real one.
Yeah.
After
He doesn't even open the lion liquor though, so Lion's just like trying to figure out how to open it. He does not have opposable thumbs.
Well, Lion like snatches it, and Steven's like, didn't even take the plastic off. And Connie's like, what an animal. And then they giggle at each other. They are so cute. Their relationship, adorable. Their friendship, I love them.
Yeah.
Listen, Lion heard about microplastics and he wanted to one up. He just wanted to get macroplastics. They enter the hospital, which has no fucking lights on. They're all flickering. I'm like, God, can someone please turn on the backup power supply for this hospital? I am pretty sure there are people who are currently flatlining because the machines keeping them alive are not on.
That's what
Yeah.
public buildings are like, though. Like, there were so many lights in, like, my schools that, like, had the flickering issue, and you're like, oh my god, please.
Yeah.
The lights will flicker on and off, but there will be nobody there. Nosferatu.
My thing is like connecting it to horror movies. It like particularly in Scream, I think it's a common thing where the lights in the hospital are just not on at night, which I have never encountered that in any hospital I've been to, where it's just almost completely dark. I could see like the lights that maybe are motion censored and like flash on. It's something that annoys me because I'm like that doesn't happen. Like
The way there is always motion in a hospital, so there by that
Yeah.
logic should always be light.
Yeah, and there's like always like there's always staff there, so like the presumption that there's like just 2 or 3 doctors in a hospital
To be fair, this
only.
is a small-time hospital for a town of like 50 people. So realistically,
Yeah,
how many
that's
people
true.
are actually here?
That's true. There's more gem mutants apparently than staff in this hospital.
It's fucking crazy. So yeah, they walk in and they see Dr. Maheshwaran walking down the hall. She's on her phone and she's like, "Oh yeah, I just got here. I'm going to begin monitoring your patient. Hey, your patient's fucking weird. I'll have information for you maybe later. Bye." And she starts examining the patient, which, as we know, is a gem monster. But she tries to like, "Hey, let me try and get the let me try and get the heart rate. Nothing. No pulse. Fuck. But he's moving. Wait a minute. Where did you get your doctorate?"
Well, no, she says stupid cheap hospital equipment. Like she thinks that her shit's malfunctioning because it makes zero sense otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, like, what she's been told about this is that it's probably somebody who was in a car accident, potentially, and that's why, they don't look like, like a normal ass person,
Rip.
what we're assuming here. But, like, I don't know.
The extra limbs is what gets me. Like she definitely pulled back the blanket or whatever, the sheet, and she was like, "Oh." So she would have had to have seen the multiple appendages.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people can be born with multiple limbs, so I
Right.
assume
That's-
I mean,
someone who's
sure, but
working in a hospital, she's like, I cannot question that. What I can question is the things that I know that everybody has, which are a heartbeat. Everybody
Yeah.
needs a heartbeat to survive. So let me check the vitals. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. The premise is actually very silly if you like put any thought into it, because there's no way that people are like, these are human beings. Like they are strangely colored. They don't have faces. But at the same time, the way it's like pretty effective, the way that it's done. Like I remember it being effective the first time I saw it, because you see like a normalish hand that's like dangling out from under the sheet, and like you hear these very human moans like coming from this like gem mutant, and it's like, ooh.
yeah, and it's like we know what's coming. Like all of us who are watching it know what's happening. She doesn't know what's happening. Connie and Steven are just like looking through the window, looking at her bag because they want to get the sword back, and they have no idea that's a gem experiment right there that could go and attack Mom.
Yeah.
It's a gem monster, but they are definitely breaking HIPAA law, which I mean, hey, that's gonna cost Connie's mom her license probably. I don't want to be that guy, but even gem monsters deserve privacy.
T.
Yeah, the medical area.
Oh, I don't remember why this came up, but Connie is like, haven't you ever been in a hospital before? And Steven's like, no. And she's like, lucky. And it's like, oh, there's some foreshadowing for Steven Universe future.
He's
Ugh.
never been to a doctor's appointment. Like, he's never had a doctor.
Do we think this is actually set up, or is just something that, like, when they were writing Steven Universe Future, they're like, hey, we said that thing all the way back in Nightmare Hospital. What if we used it now?
It was probably more of a callback in future. I think you're
Yeah.
right. But yeah, I mean, like, what would you do if you were Greg and your child was like half alien creature? Like, you don't want him to get taken away by like, the government or something.
People are so chill in this world, though. No one has ever had a problem with like magic.
I mean,
I think it's kind of weird.
this is true. This is true. Given the world that they actually existed, that wouldn't happen. But there could always be that fear of like, shit, what if somebody questions what's going on with my son? I don't want to take him to somebody and have something happen to him.
Oh, I definitely see Greg as the type to be one of those conspiracy theorists that's like about what's it called, Area 54 or whatever, with like aliens and stuff, or like he encounters one, or like his son is one, for example, and he'd be like, no, I don't want the government to come pick up my son.
No one does.
Exactly.
Yes, Steven and Connie burst into the room, violate HIPAA law, and they're like, hey, you got to give me that sword. And Dr. Maheshwaran's like, why the fuck are you guys here? Hey, get out. Hey, no, I'm not giving you the sword. And then they hear a noise out in the hallway. And out in the hallway is a different big old monster. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Yeah, no, the monster outside happens first, right? Yeah, and big old monster outside, and it's a big old humanoid figure, which is another gem monster, another gem mutant. It charges at them, so they run back into the room, and Dr. Maheshwaran tries to cover them up. And Steven is like, hey, that thing that's banging on the room right now is a gem mutant. And Connie's like, give me the sword, please. And so Dr. Maheshwaran refuses. And the patient that's behind the curtains that Dr. Maheshwaran closed, it turns out, is another gem mutant. Oh boy. Steven rushes in and saves Connie with like the line of the episode. Keep your hands off my Connie.
There we go. I hadn't gotten there yet because I was still like, wait, you just summarized so many things that just happened.
Yeah, we're trying to speed through this because we have 26 minutes left.
Yeah. I'm thinking about in the Owl House, they do like sort of the same thing as like feelings confirmation thing of where it's like, stay away from my lose. And it's like, I've never noticed that parallel before, that this is like the exact same shit.
Gay? I think that's the answer.
Hey, for a joke that 3 out of the 4 of us will understand, no one touches her, I said as I swung my sword at Cronus' army.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you mean? I totally get what you're talking about. Why would you say that?
Clearly I was talking about Raye. Raye does not remember anything, right?
Yeah, I never remember anything, but but I got it.
that's the ADHD, don't remember shit, honestly. So terrifying. We have 2 fucking gem monsters. We end up being like cornered in here. Like it's kind of terrifying, guys.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
So Connie's trying to grab this sword from her mom, who's just holding it too high. Like,
that is the meanest shit. Like, come on.
I mean, it is. But her mom's like, now is not the time. And Connie's like, now is the perfect time. And it's like, you know, she wouldn't actually want to give you the sword more if you're like, Mom, I need that so I can stab your patients with it.
Yeah.
First you violate HIPAA, now you want me to violate the Hippocratic Oath. What the fuck, Connie?
Yeah, at this point, has she realized what's happening with the patients yet? Like, I don't think they've really explained. Steven has his sword out, and he has to, like, bubble the 3 of them to, like, keep these guys off of them. But
which is, I think, a nice callback to the first episode we meet Connie, where Steven and Connie get bubbled together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Steven's just like, okay, Connie knows what she's doing. Like, just like shut up, Dr. Maheshwaran. She has been training. She understands how to use a sword. So just let her do it. This is our thing.
Let her do this for you, Rose. No.
Dr. Maheshwaran literally says Mother knows best when, like, she has the least knowledge and experience about the situation.
It's a scary world out there.
For real, though. And it feels too real. Like, when your parent does not realize that sometimes you know more about a topic than them.
Like, later when we get the parallels between Yellow Diamond and Dr. Maheshwaran, it makes so much sense rewatching it and realizing how freaking controlling she is and how they wanted to show that's what it was like for Yellow and Pink. Huh? Do you understand Pink more now? Do you get it?
It's a metaphor. You take the killing thing and you put it in your mouth so it doesn't kill. Anyway.
And then Connie's finally like, you haven't even realized my glasses. I just poked my eye out.
Well, Charlie will no longer need glasses because they just blinded themselves in one eye.
It's fine. But like, she's like, my glasses haven't had lenses in them for so long. It's been how many episodes now? It was back in like mid-season 1 or something.
And we are now at like mid-season 2. So it's been a good like 30, 40 episodes, something like that.
And Connie says almost a year. Like, the time is passing in this show.
I do love the exchange. This is probably the thing I remember most from this episode, where it's like, what, your eyesight just got magically better? And the way Connie's animated to go like, yes!
It's really good.
Because she's so exasperated being like, yes, I deal with all this magical shit all the time. I've been doing that ever since I met Steven. And so Connie's just so tired of arguing. She just simply unsheaths Rose's sword and she's like, Steven, drop the bubble shield. She effortlessly poofs both of the gem mutants.
Exactly.
She is so over-leveled.
Yeah.
That's what you get when you grind like she's been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like several levels above Steven, and it's incredible. I want to know, okay, they somehow got hospital gowns on both of these gem experiments. They just kind of like disappear after the gems go away. What happened to the hospital gowns? Are they part of their form now?
I guess it's the same kind of magic that gives Garnet her tuxedo dress when she fuses back after getting married.
I was gonna say her rings, because her rings are technically not part of her fusion, but like they were made separately, but she still has them, you know.
So I guess it's just whatever. The fucking gem mutants were going back into the ether and they're like, you know what? These hospital gowns are kind of comfy. They're coming with me.
It's kind of giving.
I like the breeze on my bare ass.
Yeah.
Very good.
Do they have asses? Do they?
How? These are questions we cannot answer or ask. You know, so they leave the hospital and Steven explains to Connie's mom that that's what the mutants were and that's why they had no pulse. And they stumble upon Lion, who's just, listen, I know that's not the joke, but the fact that he's sitting perfectly in a parking spot, I'm like, they parked Lion.
That's definitely either has happened in a previous episode or is going to happen in another episode.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that too.
There's definitely a time when Steven like parked Lion in a parking spot.
I feel like it's one of the times they try to go to a movie.
Yeah.
There's a guy on TikTok who has a very like vocal Shiba Inu. And one of the most viral clips he has with the Shiba Inu, he like attaches the leash to a parking meter and he pretends to click a key and the dog and the Shiba Inu makes a kicker noise.
That's very good.
Oh, that's so good. But do you pay for the parking for the dog? That's the question.
Yes. the dog pays for itself.
Okay. As long as it's self-sufficient, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Connie explains to mom, I didn't tell you about any of this because I didn't want you to not let me see Steven, because he's literally my only friend I've ever made at all. So please don't let me not see Steven anymore. I can protect myself. I'm growing up. Yeah.
And so Dr. Maheshwaran is like, man, maybe your dad and I are too controlling. No fucking shit. She tells Connie that she just wants to protect her and to be a good mother. And Connie's like, well, I can protect myself. And she's like, listen, we'll be more relaxed with the rules and regulations. And I'm going to try and keep an open mind about everything magic related. But I need you to tell me the truth because when things get too tough for you, I want to be there to help you. Which, hey, we've gone from overbearing, overprotective, controlling mother to we experienced trauma. Now I understand you. We're equals, ?
This is probably the best possible outcome.
It really is. It also feels a little too easy to me, but also, like, it works for the episode because you can tell that her entire world just got rocked. But also, what controlling parent would not double down in this moment and be like, you're lying? We need, like, this is the opposite of the Toph Beifong episode where her parents are like, clearly we need more protections.
We could have had, like, a doubling down plot line where that happens to Connie. That could have happened, but instead we're like, this is all about healing. We're gonna not do that. How about, because we're supposed to like this character.
Part of the magic of the writing in Steven Universe is that it makes the therapy speak thing where characters are too emotionally intelligent like work and feel natural.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time that shit does not work. But like, I was like watching this episode and like taking all these notes, like, your daughter doesn't talk to you because you've made yourself an unsafe person to talk to. And then she just like figures that out and explains it like at the end of the episode. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
We've figured it out. We've cracked the case. And to celebrate, Connie and her mom hug. And the episode ends with Steven glancing down at the sword to see his mom's sigil and proceeding to hug the sword.
Oh.
Damn, this is y'all remember Rugrats in Paris when that scene was like, hey, all the kids with their moms dance, and Chucky was in the corner with, you know, no mom because his mom was dead, and it's like, damn, no one's gonna dance with Chucky? Okay, fuck him, I guess.
You know what? It gets better because by the end of the movie, he has a mom to dance with, and it's at his new mom and his dad's wedding. And it's great. Listen, that is the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I will never not talk about Rugrats in Paris.
I love that.
It's important. I still remember all of the lines of that movie.
Yeah. Y'all remember when Paris was virtually destroyed because two giant mechs fought each other, one of the mechs being controlled by like 6 babies?
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't remember that?
Fucking crazy ass time. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Robert.
I think it's time for us to go somewhere
To the Crystal Temple?
for some Crystal Temple trivia.
Yay.
Oh, shit.
It turns out gem experiments were able to be found by humans, as 2 gem experiments were found on the side of a road. The possibility that some of the fusion experiments may have escaped was previously hinted at in Keeping It Together. The fusion experiments in this episode may have been the ones that Peridot mentioned had hatched early.
Dr. Maheshwaran seems to have grasped a basic understanding of gem biology, stating that's why the patient didn't have a pulse when referring to the mutant gem, whereas before the episode's end, she believed them to be accident victims. What? I guess that is properly worded. Okay. However, she does get a lot of criticism for not immediately realizing the mutant gems weren't human, not only because of the extra limbs and lack of heads, but also because of their inhuman coloring.
Wow, just like we said.
Yeah.
The cluster gems had the strongest reactions to the presence of Stephen in the room, perhaps hinting that the clusters can sense other gems. Peridot had confirmed in Gen Drill that the reason for this is because the cluster gems seek out other shards in a vain attempt to make themselves whole again. I had forgotten about that line, apparently. That is kind of fucked up.
Yikes.
Yeah.
This episode reveals that Stephen has never been to a hospital before, whether this is due to a hinted regenerative healing factor or the gems simply taking care of his medical needs has not been confirmed.
The mutant gems in this episode are the first cluster gems to not be mere limbs, such as many fusions seen in Keeping It Together. However, they still lack any other discernible body parts.
In this episode, a new song or lyrics for the ending theme played during the credits, entitled Nothing Like You, which is considerably my favorite song in the entire series. And it's not even a main
it's the
song,
best
it's
one.
the end credit song.
It's so good.
I fuck so hard emotionally with the line, I always thought I might be bad. I always thought I might be bad. Now I know that
I'm
it's true.
sure it's true.
Because I think you're so good and I'm nothing like you. I have so many people in my life who I think they're so good and I'm nothing like them. But I'm good in my own way.
Hearing that like little bit of the song, like I had like the whole song like stuck in my head. I was like wandering around the house singing it after watching the episode. In honor of the episode, lion liquors were prepared by Christy Cohen for the show staff. That's very sweet.
Ooh. I want to know what flavor they are. Like, what do they taste like?
And now we go on to cultural references.
The gem shard creatures in the hospital share a resemblance to necromorphs from the Dead Space franchise. Also, the sounds they produce are similar.
I've never played Dead Space, but I have seen bits of it, and that makes sense to me. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Connie's secret identity in wearing glasses but not needing them is similar to Clark Kent's secret identity for Superman.
Boo. Connie having a secret identity and revealing her secret in the event of dangers are similar to what happens in the Wild Thornberry movie when Eliza has a secret identity to talk to animals until she blew her secret to Debbie when Sloan wants Eliza to tell the truth of who told her these things while Sloan is about to throw Debbie over the edge. Damn, that's another really good fucking Nickelodeon movie I haven't thought about in a while.
Yeah, that seems weird to put in this section of trivia, though. It's like, yeah, lots of characters keep secrets. I don't know that this is all that similar, though.
Is this specifically referencing the Wild Thornberries movie? or not?
Yeah, I don't know about all that. One room's placard reads, Dr. Jarrow, patient 20. This is a reference to the character Dr. Jarrow. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm probably not. Also known as Android 20 from the Dragon Ball series.
Let's fucking go. I caught that instantly. I'm like, oh,
That's
anime nerds. Fuck
Hell
yeah.
Why are they making a reference to it? Just to make a reference?
Just to make a reference.
Because they like
I didn't know if somebody like...
If there's
that's
one
true.
thing we've learned about the Steven Universe team is that they're a bunch of fucking weebs. It's great.
There's a
Like,
lot of
sometimes-
anime references. It's funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need stuff like as set dressing in the background. So like, why not reference like one of your favorite medias? Like, go for it, you know? Instead of like making something up.
This is really random, but there is a Homestuck reference in Bluey. There's like these signs that say like Durson Prospect, like
Oh my god.
which are locations in that.
That's so funny.
Animators do this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're making a thing, no matter how much you like making the thing, you get bored. So if it's a thing that's going to be read and or seen by millions of people potentially, you're going to throw in some references. That's going to help the time pass while you're doing the thing.
A Dr. West is mentioned twice in this episode. This is a reference to the character Herbert West from the 1985 cult horror film Reanimator, which I've never seen, but I do know that it's about this doctor or medical student, I think, that can reanimate like dead bodies, which kind of
Oh.
fits with the theme of this episode, kind of,
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of, loosely.
Yeah, that slaps.
When the group is walking down the hospital's hallway, there's a painting that depicts mountains and a forest. The painting resembles one of the posters for the Firewatch video game. The shape of the rocks and shadows make a blue pine tree outline in the middle of the painting, similar to the emblem on the hat worn by Dipper Pines, the main protagonist of the Disney Channel and Disney XD series Gravity Falls. Additionally, the series is set in a forested mountain town similar to the scene depicted in the painting. Rebecca Scher and Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, are friends, so it is possible that she's making a nod to her friend's work.
Connie's fighting style with Rose's sword resembled the character Guts from the manga and anime series Berserk. Ugh, fucking weebs.
One of the gem mutants resembles a charger from the game Left 4 Dead 2.
Excellent. And now for Charlie's favorite section.
Continuity?
Continuity.
I've told them, I've explained to them how to pronounce the word properly, but it's a nice little bit to keep going, so.
A bit? What?
It's almost like we're the bits, perhaps.
Connie has a secret identity because she doesn't need her glasses anymore, since Steven healed her in an indirect kiss, although she still wears them for her parents and her optometrist. Thank you. I could not get that out of my mouth, apparently, are not aware of it until she tells her mother later on in the episode.
This is also the last episode where Connie wears her glasses frames. After this episode, Connie no longer wears her glasses frames, starting with Steven's birthday.
Oh shit. Connie is still practicing sword training with Pearl, as of Sworn to the Sword.
This episode reveals that it has been almost a year since an indirect kiss. Coincidentally, it has been almost a year since an indirect kiss in real life. An indirect kiss aired on September 18th, 2014, and Nightmare Hospital aired on September 10th, 2015. This would also mean Steven Universe is taking place in real time. Also, Connie is wearing that same outfit as she did in An Indirect Kiss.
For a few seconds, it's possible to hear Connie playing the violin riff of the jam song from Sworn to the Sword.
I didn't notice that it was a callback. That is very good.
We love a callback. While the Crystal Gems believed that they captured all of the fusion experiments in keeping it together, Peridot mentioned in her log that some of them had emerged early.
And finally, the hospital is the main location, once more in Growing Pains. All right, my friends, who are we giving our Pearl points to?
I mean, Connie? I feel like the answer is just Connie. I feel like this is just a good Connie episode.
Yeah,
It truly
Connie
is.
was pretty iconic.
I want to give it to the Maheshwaran's coat rack.
It doesn't actually exist because they don't have a coat rack. Fun fact.
In my heart, they do.
I'll give a Pearl point to Dr. Maheshwaran because we love a queen who could admit when she's made a mistake. Never happens with real life moms, but great, like, cathartic to see in fiction.
Yeah, very good.
And then, Josh, who are you giving yours? You said Connie too?
Yeah, I said Connie, yeah. She was pretty iconic.
Fantastic.
Although I do agree that the mom was iconic in her own right because she just wanted to protect her baby, which I understand, but
But
ease up
stop
a little.
scheduling all her hours.
Yes.
And now for the question, which, oh god, what could possibly be a good question for this episode? I can't just ask, have you ever been to a hospital before? Because, like, I would hope the answer is just yes, as a blanket statement. Does anybody have any ideas? Do you have an idea, Robert?
Let's see. I don't know, man. If I'm like, listen, I don't want to violate HIPAA. I don't want to be like, what's your most traumatic hospital experience? Like, that's fucked.
I also, yeah, we don't need to.
We don't need to explore that.
Have you ever lied to your parents?
Oh, fuck yes, 100 times yes. Jesus Christ, how many of us were like overruled, like lots of rules, lots of restrictions, parents? So it's like, hey, you have to learn how to lie to get some freedom. Exactly.
Yeah.
People are raising hands, and that's not great for an audio medium. But yes, there are hands raised.
there are hands raised. Listen, I love my parents, and they trust me for the big things. But like, I'm gonna lie about like studying with a friend when I'm actually going to a party to do
Oh,
non-studying
you were a
things.
cool kid. You went to parties. I just lied about how my grades were so that I could watch TV.
Oh, I did that too. I did that so many fucking times. I straight up lied about my grades, and then it always came back on the ass to bite me for parent-teacher conference.
My God.
Fun fact for you. Fun fact, because I know my parents don't listen to this, but also it's been it's been at least 10 years. So it's fine. But my parents were like, okay, you're watching Netflix too much. Like, you need to focus on homework and schoolwork and such. So they changed the password. But the thing is, I know where my mom hides the passwords on her computer. She has a whole, like, document of them. So what did I do? Is I waited for her computer to be unlocked, and I went into there, and I got the password, and then I just kept watching Netflix. And no one
That's
fucking
hilarious.
noticed.
Oh,
And then I remembered
my-
the new password better than her, like, after I had gotten my Netflix privileges back.
That's a fucking
So-
flex right there. That is a fucking
Yeah,
flex.
you're welcome.
I don't have any fun stories because I was the world's most boring child. My parents just still think I'm straight.
So in fact, you have lied to them.
you have a long con happening. You know what I mean? Like you're the best of all of us.
Ray thinks about gay sex in church pews.
Hey, there we go.
There we
We
go.
got it.
The obligatory one for the episode.
We got it in at the end. You
Josh,
thought
I
we
admitted to
forgot.
thinking about gay sex in church one time in front of Robert, and they've never let it go.
To be fair, I didn't bring it up this time. Charlie did. And also Charlie brought it up last time.
Wow.
I'll always think about this every time.
That is ballsy though, to think about that. Whereas I'm like, let's do it in the parking lot.
Hey, y'all, we need to end this episode because people have to go. So
All right. So, if our guests would like to remind everyone where they can be found in whichever order they want to decide amongst themselves.
You can go first, Ray.
Oh, yes. I am another one of your Deus Ex Media people. That's what this is. This is the DXM crossover episode.
that's what it is. Apparently.
Multiverse.
Yeah,
Multiverse
exactly.
madness.
So yeah, you can listen to me on OTEG. I think about characterization too much. Listen, you can hear me talk about Carter Kane. That's what we're doing right now. He's my little guy, as I like to say. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Go listen to that show. It's pretty good and fun.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I've been Josh, your ghostess with the mostest from Super Scary, also on Deus Ex Media. I am currently on a break, so depending on when this comes out, I might be back, but probably like late March, I'll start up episodes again every Monday about some of my favorite horror films. And I may or may not be doing a whole season of LGBTQ themed horror films. You're welcome. So come check me out.
Good shit. And you can also, if you want to, you can pay money to any of these wonderful people's Patreons, including ours, and you can talk to us on Discord because
Hell yeah.
we're all in the same Discord together. Friendship.
Friendship.
Friendship, man, this was like the best foursome of my life, and it's only the second
You've
one.
had
I've
other
been on.
foursomes? Tell me about them, Robert.
One was with Darian and DJ, but that's not a joke I'm brave enough to make in any regards. I was on a podcast that had 4
Yeah,
guests
in fact,
that, like,
we had two people on this pod before. In fact,
at the same time.
So you lied to us.
Yeah,
At the
same
we are
time?
here under false pretenses, is what it sounds like to me.
Oh God.
we've we haven't had 2 people from 2 separate podcasts here before. Okay, we brought on our partners who do not have podcasts currently.
Oh, that was the other time.
And then we brought on both
That's
people from
so
Muses of
awesome.
Mythology.
That's
So-
with our partners. Fuck. Let's
It's
get out of here.
really
Let's get out of
funny,
here.
guys.
Bail.
Force it
Bailing.
with your partners.
Bail. It's fucking bail. Hey, Charlie,
Yeah, Robert.
if our podcasts were perfect, because holy shit, this podcast is not perfect.
We sure as hell wouldn't have the bits.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
You can follow this podcast socials at thebitssupod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond Line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at our Patreon, patreon.com/thebitsu. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about Steven Universe, or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Steven's Room, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll be talking about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with Steven in some way. No promises.
You can check out our merch store, The Bits SU, on Redbubble to find custom designs made by yours truly. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or even letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. It really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at The Damn Meme Page on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky. If you want to have more from me, check out my YouTube channel, also called The Damn Meme Page, where I make videos mainly about Percy Jackson, but also sometimes other fun stuff. The Bits is proud to be part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Super Scary, a love letter to superheroes, sci-fi, and horror movies hosted by Josh.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here. Welcome to the Super Scary podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
Look around, I'm looking out to be alive.
Oh, I'm turning off my humidifier.
Why do you need a humidifier? You need humidity in your room?
Yeah, bro. It's so dry, I crack and bleed.
Rip. Vape? No. Humidifier.
I mean, it does create vapor.
There you go. Do you want to come in the
Deep
room
wave.
again,
Oh my
sir?
God. Leave the cat outside. Let him suffer.
My sweet boy is taking a sweet boy nap.
Yeah, yours is sweet boy. Charlie's boy right now is chaotic gremlin.
He's like, now I want your attention. You've woken me up. I want to be played with.
There we go. There's my sweet boy taking his sweet boy nap.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
All right, remember when we said no tangents?
Oh, right. I have to work.
Doesn't-
Took us
later.
6
start
minutes
up-
to
yeah.
even start.
Deus Ex Media.